guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. Today, we're gonna, yesterday we talked about the topic of depression, and then today I think we just kind of wrap it up. We talk about coping with depression. Anyway, before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Before I start, I wanna, answer a quick question, because I make a little post on my Facebook saying if you're focusing on a problem, you will always get a problem, and if you focusing on solution, you will always find a solution. And of course, some people don't understand what I meant. You couldn't quite understand it, so you want me to give you an example. So I'm going to give you a quick example, and I hope that will make it very clear. If you're focusing on a problem, that is, someone in your life is a problem. Why is this always happen to me? Why am I always so unlucky, right? Why is this person always treating me this way? Why are they always looking down at me? You know what I mean? Those are what I call problem. When you always are focusing on problem, what happens is then you sending the universe a signal. One day I'm going to come back and explain what universe really is to you guys. So, it's not just a phrase that is so, so out there, we don't know what it is. So what happened is then universe would assume that's what you want, right? Because you keep asking on it, you're focusing on that, and then you focusing on that is a problem for me. Therefore, it will continue to bring more problem to you, because obviously you haven't overlooked or you haven't worked it, and you haven't overcome that kind of tax yet. Therefore, it continue bringing the exercise, things for you. But if you're focusing on solution, that is, someone may be mistreating me, right? But then, instead of focusing on why is people always treating me this way, why am I always so unlucky, right? I'm focusing on what kind of the result that I want, right? I mean, I want a peaceful life, right? I want to live in a life like nobody hates me, right? I'm focusing on that kind of solution, and I don't know how. Most of people, when looking for a solution, they actually don't know how they can get that solution. But if you're focusing on that is the result I want, that is the result I want, that is who I am, and then that's the result I want, what happens is the universe will then think, oh, you already deal with your question, you already deal with your problem, so therefore that is the result. They will somehow, some way find a way to bring it to you. So anyway, I hope that give you a clear example what I really try to say here. So then let's get into our topic today, how to cope with depression. You'll be surprised. It's funny, right? Like every time if you see this topic about depression and things like that, people automatically thinking, well, only mental people have the depression. You know what I mean? Like they group it on assuming you must have some mental disease, or you got low EQ, or you got something, that's why you have depression. But as I said yesterday, let me quickly refresh to you guys. Yesterday I mentioned the reason you cause depression is because who you are as a being is too far apart from who you truly want to be within yourself, right? So when the distance start, getting so far apart and start taking 50% more, then that's where we start notice depression, right? So if you understand the theory, you will start to notice that most people who actually suffer through depression are so-called socially high performance people. That means they're pretty much very successful in life, where you can look at them in all angle, all area. They should be very successful, and then they do good for themselves, but you don't know why they got depression. The reason of that is, it's not like what they did don't meet the standard of what society give it to them. What happened, what really caused depression is they don't meet the standard that they have for themselves. So I would say most of people, like high performance people who suffer through, which, depression is based on foundation, they have high expectation of themselves. You know what I mean? Like that standard maybe exceed what people expect of them or things like that, but they just always want to do good of themselves, and then they don't understand how come they're trying so hard they simply cannot get to the standard that they wanted, not a society that wanted from them. So anyway, so what I'm here trying to say is depression, as I say, is very common disease. It's just normal people, we don't notice until it really reached that 50% benchmark. So the people who actually suffer through it, I would say 80 to 85% are actually high performance people in the society. That means they do well for themselves, in other people's eye, but they have higher expectation within themselves. Like they feel they fail themselves every time. So that's why. But anyway, in order to cope your depression, if you understand this theory, it will help you tons, okay? It will really help you tons. If you can, that's why later on, after I developed so many areas, I start to realize there's a fundamental goal is if you start reaching within yourself, you can actually, the more you are in sync with who you are, the less depression you will have, right? But, if unfortunately you trap yourself into depression, I have very simple step, I hope can really give you guys a little bit clue, and then you can evaluate yourself. I understand you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to share it with other people. So if you happen to be in the situation like I was before, I have a hard time expressing it, right? Here are a couple steps you can actually give it a try, and it helped me out, and I really hope it can help you guys out too. So if your depression's been really long and then it's been very strong, and then in the lowest bottom means you cannot even function the very basic task, right? That means you probably don't know how to, you couldn't even make the simplest decision. If you caught yourself doing that, like you cannot decide what you want to eat, or you cannot decide what you should do, or you cannot perform the very basic tasks of life, then here I would suggest you guys to start treat yourself like a 3-year-old. That means let go of things. You have to let go of anything, because it couldn't be worse than where you are right now, right? You cannot make any decision anyway. You cannot perform anything. Everything you do seems to fail yourself in some regard. So this is a moment you really have to learn to let it go. That means let go of all those expectations that you have of yourself, and you start treating yourself like a 3-year-old. If you happen to have the loved one or someone you care suffer through depression, this is what you can do for them. That means you treat them like a 3-year-old. Not to so much tell them what to do, but you will start eating healthy. You will eat because it's time to eat, not because you want to eat, because it's time to eat. And then when you choose to eat, you will choose what in your conscious or what people tell you this is healthy, and then you will eat that. You will make time, you will force yourself to work out, whatever workout is good for you. Even go out, walk around the park, make it a routine. You know how mom raising a kid, they always go to the park. What you want to do is you want to create a routine, and that routine will eventually become your habit, right? The reason I want to force you to do that is since you couldn't make decision anyway, since you cannot make decision anyway, right? So you might well just give your body a brand new routine that you can follow, right? So you can wake up, you don't have to think what you should do, you simply follow the routine, right? So that way your brain don't have to think. Your brain don't have to think, because what we want to train you is, since you couldn't take care of your mind right now, you might well just take care of your body somehow, right? So when your mind somehow get together, your body is actually functional, right? So you don't want to really damage this body while you couldn't take care of this or this. So if you have a loved one who suffered through depression, you can set a routine for them. Go for a walk together with them. Make it a habit. As I say, anything you do it for 21 days, it will become a habit, right? So if you suffer through it and you don't want to share with other people, as I say, write a routine. Write it down and you simply follow it, right? Because really your taste bud is not tasting food anyway. You might well just pick something healthy. It's not like before you would enjoy what the food tastes like. when you're in depression, all the sensation go numb. You actually don't know what the food tastes like anyway. So instead of having a bowl of chip, you might well just have a bowl of salad, because it really does not make any difference. You will eat because you are eating, not because you want to eat or you feel like eating. So this is level 1. I would say it usually take about 2 weeks to, I would say average people, depends on how long you've been suffering through depression, but I would say it take about 2 weeks to 6 weeks for it to start settle in. Like you are doing a routine. You're simply doing it not because you want to do it, it's because it's your routine. You will do it. So by setting up a routine, you don't have to think. That will really help someone who going through depression, by establish a routine for them, right? If you start having this routine, packed down and doing very good, the second thing that's gonna happen to you is that's called emotions. I call it short circuit more. That means you're gonna start feeling emotional swing, right? You go from numbness, you don't feel anything, and you give up anything, the emotions start coming back on. You start to, you start to sense emotion come and go, which a lot of people, I would say, they didn't go as bad as, that numbness. They are usually stuck in here. Their emotional come and go. They come and go. They feel like crying this moment, and they feel like this next moment. It can come and go like this, right? So if you can, at this moment, as I say, if you can set up a routine from before, this is all gradual. That means if you can embed all this into your lifestyle, eventually you will get better, right? So don't jump ahead or anything. So if you notice your mood swing is like this, and then you notice you don't have a living routine, like life routine, I would suggest you to establish that one. Forget about your mood swing. Even when you're crying, even you could go to a fitness class and you're crying the whole way, so be it, because that's your routine. You will do it anyway, right? But when you have a short circuit mode, when you have a mood swing, this is the time I'm going to teach you. You have to find a vent, a way to vent it, right? I get it. A lot of time we're in there, we don't want to trouble our loved one. We don't want to, put that burden on top of people. Throughout the year, I find one way that actually worked very well, right? It's actually writing a blog. The reason writing a blog, you will have a fake name anyway. Nobody really know who you are. And then nobody really know your identity and things like that. But you are able to write down what it is that really killing you. You know what I mean? You actually give yourself a vent. Of course, if you don't want to do that, when my first time, what I find a vent is I find planting flower. I find planting flower very soothing. So every day I go by a lot of flower, and all I can remember is if I'm not eating and I'm not exercising, I plant flower, right? And I can do that the whole time. Sometimes even forget to cook for the family, which is okay. What I want to know is if you are suffering through depression, it's okay. Because what you want to focus right now is you want to find a vent for your emotion. So your emotion got somewhere to go. It's no longer suppressed here. Because remember, what I'm saying is the reason you got depression is because you keep suppressing that emotion, right? So eventually it triggered that distance between outside and inside. So now what you want to do is when you find yourself have mood swing, you come and go, you have emotional thing, you either find something you love to do. Discover something you love to do, either a walk, planting a flower, or cooking, or something. Now you have a habit, packed down, right? A routine packed down. You have to eat, you have to sleep, and you have to do that. Now discover how you can vent it, how you can vent all those sadness, how you can take it all out, give it to someone. Take it all out, give it to someone. That's why I find blogging really helping, because I can simply vent it out. Whether people want to see it or not see it, that's their problem. But that is like, for me, it's like a garbage dump. You know what I mean? I simply dump it there, and then I feel how it's out of my chest, right? I probably cannot vent it all out at once, but I do a little bit at a time. Eventually, you will feel how that suppressed, that knot that was in chest will actually slowly get released, right? So if you can do that, that would go step 2. Eventually, when you start having release, you actually find a way to release all those emotion. You will start come to the third step. The third stage is you start feel lost. I know it's really weird, but it's actually, I got this really packed down here. This is a moment once you release everything, all of a sudden the knot is not there, right? You start feeling lost and you actually don't know what to do, right? This is a moment I would say, what I did before is I would go try to find a phrase, a sentence that remind me what my intention really is. What's my intention, who I am, right? Like, why am I here? So sometimes I find things very interesting. You'll be surprised what I find very interesting. It's called Pinterest. I noticed that friends introduced Pinterest to me when I was suffering through depression. First, I didn't know what it is, but then I realized it's almost like the online vision board. So what happened is you collect all the pictures you like and you put it in one board. When you go into that board and look at all the visually wonderful pictures, you feel like you are in your happy place, right? So I start getting kind of addicted to it. So sure enough, through Pinterest, sometimes I will see some quote or some nice phrase. I really speak within myself. You know what? It really speaks for me. So what I did is I then print out the quote. That quote, I think, is something called, your story is worth telling, and you are here to make a difference, or something like that, right? So what I did is I print it out and then I basically stick it on my cell phone so I can see it every day. So what I would do is, if you have family who suffer through depression, or you yourself suffer through depression, and the third stage, when you're feeling lost and I don't know what to do, finding your intention is very important. If you as a loved one can assist them to find that intention, like what it is, like who they are deep inside, who they truly want to be, what inspired them, right? To make it print out and then remind you, even become your wallpaper on the desktop, or stick it on your bed, or do anything. If anything that can remind you, with me, I just stick on my cell phone because I have my phone every day, right? Eventually, it takes another longer time, but it usually takes about 1 month or so that sentence will actually set in. This is who I am, right? This is who I want to be, right? So that intention will start to give you a little bit purpose of life. Why am I here? Because really, we suffer with depression, all we deal is we don't know why we are here. Now we simply pick one. If you don't know what it is, pick one. Pick one that's big for you. Pick one that you can see yourself being. And then I will use that one for now. So most of people, when they got back to, this is the third stage, when they got back to the normal stage, and then they're like, oh, I'm kind of functional now. They just stop here. They stop. This is it, right? This is when the how do you call it? Depression will actually reoccur, right? If you only stop here, oh, I'm back to my normal functional life, this is all good now, I think I can manage it, right? You let it go on, the chances the depression will come back again. Why? Because even though you find your intention, that's where your source, where you come from, you never give your life a direction. So I would say, to really pull yourself out of depression, the stage 4 is going to be very important, because stage 4 is you are going to secure your future foundation and the direction. How are you going to do it? At the beginning, when you don't know how you can do it, this is the moment I teach you how to think who you really want to be. Since, hey, you already gone to the rock bottom, everything else can be created from the blank scratch paper, right? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So if I give you I'm gonna go back to the previous episode. I brought this again. I brought to you guys and introduced this to you guys again. If your life is a piece of blank paper, and now you can simply write anything. You can write anything on this magical paper and it's going to come true. What are you going to write? Like, what are you going to write? Who are you going to be? If I'm going to say, Ruowen can become a complete different person. And that person is going to be someone I love to wake up to, someone I love to be, right? Who is that? Like, how is that person going to look like, and who is that person going to be? So you really sit down and write down how that person is going to to be, right? And every day you put that piece of paper in somewhere you can see. And then you would treat it like it's a play. Every morning you wake up, that's a screenplay. And you will fake it. You will play your role so well. As I say, you guys are all high performance people. You suffer depression not because you have mental problem, not because you are worse than other people. It's because you guys are high performance people and you have high expectation of yourself. So I have no doubt that you can play that role well. You know why? Because that's exactly what brings you to depression in the first place, right? Because your depression, your high expectation make you high achiever in society, I'm pretty sure. So now, instead of playing a role we hate it so much and bring ourselves to a depression again, hey, why don't we play a role that we actually like? You know, since people already seen the worst part of us, we already gone through the worst part of it. What worse can it be? If I'm gonna play a script, I'm gonna play my script, not other people's script. If I'm gonna live a life, I will live a life that I want. I would decide how it's gonna go, how it's gonna play. I'm gonna tell people who I really wanna be. So what I'm doing, this is gonna take exercise. Everything I suggest you are actually gonna take exercise. It's gonna take months, 2 months, but you know, it's way better than suffer through years of depression. You don't know what to do. So, you know, step 4 is very important. Set up a role that you love and play that role. Play that role, you fake it until you make it. You play that role so much, you love it so much, and you never want to quit that role. That's what you are going to do. And then if you can, this one, the step 4 is actually going to take longer time. For it to really, for your mind to really register it and then understand this is who I am, and let the people around you to really accept this is who you are. You actually take about 3 months to 6 months of time. But trust me guys, it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, so if you can do that, that's really the key point, what would keep you from depression from occurring to your life ever again. So anyway, let me quickly run it out. I only got 4 steps for you, very simple. Step 1, if you cannot even function the very basic text, then establish a routine. You follow that routine. You know, you follow that routine to the core. You will purposely make it become a habit. It's not like you like it or you don't like it. Even you hate to get up and work out, you would do it. But why? Because you are establishing a routine. So step 1, treat yourself like a 3-year-old. Don't have any expectation. Let go of the expectation. I cannot do anything good now anyway. I might well just start from scratch. Let me treat myself like a 3-year-old. Oh, breakfast I have to eat. Okay, I will eat. And when I eat, I will eat healthy. Why? Because you know what? Since I cannot take care of my body, I cannot take care of my mind right now, I might well just take care of my body. Because when my mind comes back, my body is actually functional. That's what you're going to think. So step 1, establish a routine. Treat yourself like a 3-year-old. If you have loved one going through that, you will do that too. You don't tell them what to do. You will simply do that. Okay? You will say, let's do it, instead of saying you should do that. You know, let's do it. Come on, time to eat. Time to eat, right? So 2, if you're dealing with emotional swing back and forth, you don't know what to do and all that, you find a way to vent. Find a way, no matter what that is. It can be planting a flower. It can be writing a blog. I personally find writing a blog really helpful. So, you know, if you are the friends or family of the loved one who suffered through depression, right? Listening all crazy idea work really well. You know what I mean? Because those people who suffer depression, they actually know what they should do, right? They expect you. They actually believe that they go to the world, expect you're going to criticize them. You know, they'll be surprised if you don't criticize them. So instead of they say what I should do, they probably expect you to say you should go out more. But instead you say, hey, let's go bungee jumping anyway. You know, they were like, huh? Are you crazy? You know what I mean? The crazier your idea is, the more they think you are crazy. And then that's how the depression people actually bring them back to the normal. But if you are the one who suffers through depression, find a way to vent out your emotion. If you have a nice friend who is willing to listen to you cry and cry and cry, that's fine. But I personally find writing blog really helpful. You can be a complete different stranger and simply vent it out. Treat a blog like a garbage dump. Throw your emotion on it, dump it, and forget about it. That's the intention, that's what you want to do. Okay. After vent out the intention, to vent out the emotion, you will come to this place that you feel lost and you don't know what to do. This is a place I want you to find the intention, who you are, like why you're doing those things that got you depression in the first place. Why? You know what I mean? Like if I could accommodate myself, right, to please people, eventually get myself depression. This is some of my come down is, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Right? The intention is who I am is I want to be a kind people, but do I want people to walking all over me? You know what I mean? This is the time I really want to evaluate my own intention, what it is that got me to that place. What really that thing is that I want to achieve, right? So, as I say, Pinterest I find it really helpful because that's like, you know, I'm visually very satisfied from that. The four things the most important and key point is actually find a future for yourself. That is, design your future by the piece of paper, and then you will play that role. You will fake that role. You will so good, you will fake it that people actually believe in you. You know what I mean? And then make sure that role is some role that you love, you want to play. So anyway, I hope that can quickly, take so much text, takes such a long time. I actually have a little bit time OCD, so when time is pushing too far, I get nervous, but I try to let it go myself. So anyway, I hope that give you guys a little bit idea how to cope with depression, and really hope that I can give you guys a bit direction and help. Again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Periscope, or go to my Facebook, or subscribe my YouTube channel, or go to my website ruowen.com. Till then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.